guys, welcome to episode 20 of the 20th week of Directly to You. Can you believe we've been doing this for 20 weeks straight?
20 consecutive weeks.
20
That's
consecutive.
the crazy part.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And thank you guys for participating, listening the whole way through with these hour-long discussions, you know, asking your questions, and the Discord, which you guys should join if you're not already a member, part of that.
This week we got a lot more questions because YouTube finally gave us access to the community tab. Mm-hmm. So I pulled them too. I said, hey, ask some questions on the community post. So if you're not a part of Discord and Discord's not your thing, don't worry about it. You can just post on the community tab and do it like that. But if you like Discord, join the Discord.
There we go. More engagement all the way around. And thank you guys for commenting and just always checking these things out. We really do appreciate it. So first of all, like, what's been up with you this week?
We are potentially going to E3.
Yeah,
invited us to E3. So that might be a thing that happens. Other than that, we have a couple of games that I don't know if we're gonna review all of them, but we got a lot of codes.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's nice to have these this list. So it's like, oh, you know, I'm gonna check this out. You know, get some content on the channel. Plus, it's good to just play these games for free, and that's freaking awesome. So yeah. So that's basically it. Yeah. So yeah, guys, I might be going to E3. Super excited about that. It'd be a dream come true. Definitely.
I was talking about it with AC. You guys don't know AC, but you know AC. Like, I was talking about it with him where I was like, it's kind of messed up because finally when we're able to go to E3, like Nintendo doesn't do the whole press conference thing, so we don't get to experience that. Yeah. But I mean, at least we'll get to go to E3.
Man, it's definitely like a bucket list thing, like a check. It's like you know, it's like, oh, I wanted to go to E3, you know.
Plus, everybody's going to be at E3. Dan's going to be at E3.
Right.
Wolfden's going to be at E3. Both of them, Will and Bob, are going to be E3.
right. So it's like this is extreme. Yeah. So, what are you guys excited for about E3? Let us know in the comments below. But speaking of E3, Nintendo's has a lineup that's rumored.
There's a lot of rumors, and all of them. I just want to get ahead of the horse on the. I mean, get the cart ahead of the horse on this one. These are most likely fake. Like, probably every single one of these things are fake.
Right.
That's not the point of this. We're not doing the E3 prediction show yet. That'll be like in a week or so from now. The point of this is basically like, here are all these rumors. Talk about some of the other rumors that we talked about in our videos this week. And just talk about like
rumors in general. Just the rumor mill.
Want to be true and stuff like that. Like,
right.
It's not like we think that these are real. That's not the point of this. So don't get your panties all in a bunch again. Right.
Let me just look at some of these here. We have a lot of these are really. Like I just want to say, like, I agree with like, I would love to see like as far as like what it starts off with, like what it says, Smash characters reveal right at the opening of the thing. I'm like, I don't think that would be the thing that would happen, but that'd be cool.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
I mean, it definitely be like a we came to play. You know, we're gonna grab your attention.
We already know that Smash Bros is a thing. Like, if Smash Bros wasn't revealed yet, then I could see it being at the end. Yeah. But Smash Bros is revealed already, so
yeah. I mean, it always just seemed like it'd be a thing they always like showed at the end. Like, even with the when we got like new characters in Smash 4,
they've opened like E3 like with Smash. Like they opened one E3 with Smash Brothers. When they revealed the Mii fighters.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
When Sakurai, I mean not Sakurai, Reggie and Iwata, they were fighting in that trailer. They've done that before. I could see them doing that.
Yeah. Let me see. So it says Star Fox Lilat system.
We know that's probably
right. I was like, okay. It's like I just took that as like Star Fox Grand Prix, you know. So
yeah. See, and that's the thing with these fake ones. They're like, oh, let's throw in some stuff that we know is kind of like right here, the Octo expansion. Yeah. I'd be kind of surprised if they talked about the Octo expansion during the video presentation. That wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's just something exciting. I feel like we already got like pieces of that before, you know. Especially like toward the end. I felt like they did a justice with the last Nintendo Direct in itself.
Right. Like it's not really something that they need to put in a...
Right. They don't need to put this as its own segment. Metroid Prime Regenerate, which is a really weird name.
It makes sense.
I mean, yeah, it does, but it's just like I don't know. It just hits the ear wrong, but it does make sense though, because like we're bringing this back, and it's, you know, it's freaking gonna be full force. Right. That's cool.
The other one, like this right here, the Fallout 3 thing.
Yeah.
Like that's something that people like started reporting. Like, is Fallout 3 going to come to Switch? It's like I couldn't see them putting Fallout 3 on the Switch. If they're going to put Fallout on there, I see Fallout 4 happening. Yeah. The reason why a lot of people are like hesitant for that is because they still have it in their mind. The marketing machine works where developers are like, I don't know, we can't get the game to work. Like that works. Mm-hmm. They can get the game to work if they want the game to be on there. So if they're going to put Fallout on there, I'd be surprised if it wasn't Fallout 4, especially with Bethesda, because they're all in on Switch.
Right. They're one of the. We saw that like before it even officially like dropped, and we got like real details. We knew those are one of the people, like developers, that were like behind the Switch, and like, yeah, we, you know,
right, like Todd Howard specifically, like somebody that was very vocal about not wanting to support Wii U, was vocal in the opposite way about how like good of a platform Switch was. Like he was so excited for the platform. So I can't see them looking for excuses to not port their games over to Switch. Yeah,
exactly. And best believe we're gonna be getting them when they do. Fire Emblem Memories. I feel like that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I'm hyped for some Fire Emblem news. I think it's about time. I want to see what this is gonna look like. I'm excited for this.
The F-Zero SX.
Oh yeah.
If they do F-Zero, that's gonna make a lot of people happy. I feel like they wouldn't, because it seems kind of. I mean, yes and no. It feels kind of redundant if the Star Fox
thing. Yeah, true.
But at the same, I mean, we'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
in due time.
Is there anything on here that like what are well? I don't want to do predictions. I don't want to do predictions yet. So beyond that, like if this was the lineup, would you be happy with this? Like because we have 3 lineups on here.
Right.
Out of these 3, which one would you prefer?
I'd like the I'd like the second, or the one. I just feel like this is it's pretty cool. I'd like to get more information. I think we have enough here. Especially
so the second one is okay. Yeah, so that's the one that you opened up with, where it's like Smash Brothers starts the event.
Yeah.
Punch Out, Metroid Prime, Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion, which I don't think makes sense. That's like a Treehouse Live thing. Fire Emblem, Fallout 3, Yoshi's Flipping Island.
Yeah, that right there. That's
a dead giveaway that's fake.
Right. And then
Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, and then F-Zero SX.
Yeah, like any news about Pokemon, which I do believe we should get. You know,
I think we're going to see. I think Emily Rogers. I think the Pokemon Let's Go rumors have some validity to them. I don't know if everything that they're saying is true. I don't know if everything that they're saying is fleshed out enough in the way that they're saying it, because a lot of people jump to I mean, we'll get to this later, but a lot of people think different things about that.
It's just like that right there. I feel like that's gonna steal the show. Like Pokemon's gonna steal the show. It's just because like everything else is like a almost I mean, other than Metroid, it's like a known, you know, it's a known thing. It's like,
yeah, but I mean, by E3, Pokemon might be a known thing. They've never like revealed a Pokemon game at E3, other than like they've announced like the like spin-off. I mean, not spin-offs, but like the third title. Like they announced like Pokemon Emerald at E3, but that like the full rollout and stuff like that usually happens through like Kuro and like Nintendo, like Pokemon Directs and stuff like that. Like Pokemon is too big for E3. They don't need E3.
I feel like even at this point we've seen nothing. You know what I mean? I mean, of course we have the rumors, you know, but as far as like something like solid that we can like stand on, it's like this.
Right. I'm just saying. I think that's going to happen before E3.
Oh, you think so?
Pokemon. Yeah, for sure. We're going to see Pokemon before E3.
I hope so. That'd be freaking. You know what that means? Content, more content. So like, so yeah, we'll be on that. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what Nintendo has planned.
I think what's going to steal the show is Metroid.
Yeah, so
I think the only way Pokemon steals the show is if we don't see anything from Pokemon. Like if we just see like a logo and that's it for Pokemon whenever they fully announce it. Because I don't think that they're going to fully announce it at E3.
Right.
Like if anything, they might announce it and say this is what the game's called, here's the logo, here's one Pokemon, and then fully like here's the first trailer at E3. They might do something like that. But as far as like Metroid Prime, we don't. I mean Metroid Prime or Fire Emblem, but I think Fire Emblem's a little bit too niche for E3 to be the biggest.
Oh yeah, definitely not. I think it's gonna be a cool footnote. It's gonna be something like, oh, you know, it's like one of the things is like, oh yeah, Fire Emblem got, you know, got revealed. It's like, you know, it's not gonna be a steal of the show.
Right, because I mean, a lot of us are going to be excited for it, obviously.
Right.
But Fire Emblem is definitely not Metroid Prime level. Like Metroid Prime, in terms of like what people are excited for. Like people have been waiting for Metroid Prime for a decade almost.
Right. Exactly. That's not to you guys in the comments that are like super hardcore about Fire. I love Fire Emblem. It's gonna be all we know.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be people that's like, I'm most excited about Fire Emblem.
Right. The majority. But I'm excited. I'd say a good like 3 out of these are definite with the Smash Brothers, the Fire Emblem. I even feel like Metroid at this point. You know, I feel like we're going to see something. You know, and even Pokemon, of course. Like those, like so. Right there, it's like we already have a powerful enough lineup as it is. It's just a matter of how they're gonna set it up. You know, like what's gonna, you know, how they're gonna what's gonna go first and what's gonna go last. How they're gonna. But I don't know. Like as far as like saving the best for last, maybe Pokemon should go last. Is a good closer. But I mean,
if we don't see anything from Pokemon, that could happen.
Yeah.
But they usually like closing out the show with something like completely new.
Yeah, I'm more excited for that than Smash, to be honest, because this is something that's like never been, you know, this is new, right? And it's like Smash, like we expected. I mean, it's still hype, you know, but we expected a Smash for, you know, for Switch, and in any way that it may come, you know, whether it be a port or a new title, whichever. But
I mean, it's a foregone conclusion for me that I'm most excited for Pokemon.
Right? Yeah. So that's the thing. I'm excited for like not even. Like I'm just waiting for Mario Tennis Aces to come out. I'm like, come on! I think didn't they push that back?
No,
they didn't.
No.
I'm about to say I'm super excited for that game because like I've been playing a lot of just Breath of the Wild straight, and I'm like, this is cool. But I want that multiplayer. I mean, obviously Splatoon 2, but I'm getting off track. But yeah, E3 it's gonna be freaking ridiculous. And you know what else is freaking ridiculous?
See, there was several segues that were possible there. Like they were just like it was like a Minority Report, and they were just like going past my eyes. I could see them. I'm like, oh wait, where's he going to do? Off track? It's not on rails anymore. Speaking of off track, you know, it's like, we're taking Star Fox off rails.
Yeah, exactly. This.
Speaking of not excited, or something I am excited for, not excited.
You're right. It just sucks. Like overall, like my thoughts. What I meant to add into the video, which I didn't get a chance to. Overall, you know, I'm excited to see a new Star Fox game. You know, as far as like I'm glad that the IP, like they're poking it with a stick, has a pulse, and they're like, yeah, you know, but just the direction is again, it's definitely concerning. An IP that's never been a racer, all of a sudden we're going to turn it into a racer, and I've seen a lot of comments. Point to F-Zero, which we will get into in some of the comments. Yeah, it's really really weird to me. And amongst all I wanted to throw in at the end when I was like, I'm probably gonna get it anyway. Like just like a comedy thing for people to be like, yeah. Like to be honest, I probably am. Even though like
you're gonna get it.
I'm gonna get it. But it's just you know, let's not kid ourselves.
Like, I mean, the thing about it is, it's not like when Star Fox Command came out,
right?
and you're like, oh, this isn't the Star Fox I want, or Star Fox Adventure, or Star Fox Assault, you know, because all those games are in line with what Star Fox, the universe, is. Right. It's not this thing of, I want an on-rail shooter in 2018. Exactly. You've been saying since before this was even a thing that you didn't want on-rail shooters. Exactly. So I don't understand why people in the comments keep saying like, well, on-rail shooters are kind of dated and they can't do that anymore. Who said in the video that you wanted an on-rail shooter?
Exactly.
You just want a game that makes sense.
Exactly.
with the IP. That being said, I'm not completely against this game. Because for a lot of reasons that a lot of people are saying in the comments, like as far as like Retro Studios working on it, like I know, and again, I mean that's another point of this video. Like nowhere in the video did you say this game is going to suck or that's going to be bad or anything like that. Right. So a lot of people's like defense against this is like, oh, just wait until you see it, and it's like, that's not really going to change your opinion on not wanting Star Fox to be a racing game.
Exactly. Like I completely like I said in the video, like this, like my video speaks not to the quality of the game itself. It could very well be a good racer that I'm like, this is a good racing game, but I prefer Star Fox not to be a racing game. Right. So just like
another thing, and I don't know how you feel about this personally, but a lot of people were bringing up like, oh, what about Mario plus Rabbids? It's like.
And I'm sorry, that's the same way you feel about Mario plus Rabbids is the same way I feel about this. It's like
exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Like how I felt about Mario plus Rabbids before the game came out was unchanged, because what I didn't like about the game was apparent. It was visually apparent. I could see what I didn't like about the game. My complaint wasn't, oh, the controls are bad, or it falls apart in Act 3, or the second level boss is terrible, or there's glitches all over the place. It's like the theming of this game I do not like.
Right. And that was your whole point.
If I can't understand the theming of the game through the pitch of the game, then that's failed marketing. Like that's not me judging before I'm given what I'm supposed to be given, because I'm not judging what I need to put my hands on to judge. You know?
Like never on the internet. I think you and Bob have the same sentiment with that title as well. Yeah. Never on the internet have you guys been like, Mario plus Rabbids is a bad game. Never.
Yeah. Like we're not sitting there being like, oh yeah, the controls are clunky and you know like the balancing's terrible. We're not saying that. We're saying the theming doesn't make sense, and everybody's like, oh well, you know, they kind of they poke fun at it, and they kind of contextual. No, they don't. They do this ham-fisted effort of like, oh yeah, see Mario and the gang, they're annoyed by the Rabbids just like you. And it's like, that doesn't mean it makes sense. Like, where do you ever see? There's so many like weird, quirky enemies in Mario, like the games themselves, but Mario's never like, oh, I'm so annoyed by this Goomba. You know, like
and even then that's a butt pull. Like to even say that, it's like that you're reaching. You're really reaching to try to, like, you know, that's just like, come on. So yeah, it's the exact same way. And some of these
and it's hypocritical. Because it's completely justified to hate Fanatix Four. Before that game came out, everybody hated that. And I'm kind of mad at you for not bringing that up. Like that probably would have saved you from a lot of those negative comments. Yeah. Because that's what this is. It's Fanatix Four. It has nothing to do with... Nobody cared about how good or bad Fanatix Four may or may have not been before it came out. All they cared about is that we're getting a spin-off and a troubled series. A series that the last game that we got, everybody hated. We haven't even gotten that game in the last decade. That's the same exact scenario that we're in. Everybody hated Star Fox Zero. And before Star Fox Zero, Star Fox was still inconsistent. It was all over the place.
Right.
Exactly. You saying I don't want to spin off in a series that's inconsistent, I think is completely justified, whether or not I agree with one in the game or not.
Like you know what, internet, you know what series has earned a spin off? Zelda. That series has earned to be like, you know, I'm making a spin off of this game. That series has proven itself, especially with Breath of the Wild. If they want to make a spin off of Zelda, go ahead and do it. You know, I'm behind that 300%. But Star Fox,
if we haven't seen, and let's be real, like if we haven't seen a Mario platformer, you know, like 3D or otherwise, 3D or 2D. Yeah. If all they were coming out with Mario Kart, everybody would be pissed.
Exactly.
Like even with the love that people have for Mario Kart, like you still want the mainline series to be represented before you get to the spin-offs, you know? Like I wouldn't be happy if I went to McDonald's and I'll pay for a meal, but they just gave me fries. You know, like I like fries, but I want my meal, you know?
Right. And that's the thing, like a couple months ago when we made the Star Fox is Dead video and you're to blame, the majority of the comments was all I never play Star Fox, I don't really care about. So why am I wrong for this? Why am I wrong for like?
That's the thing. That's the thing. That's the thing. That's where they're at. They're like, I don't like Star Fox, so I don't think I like a Star Fox game that makes sense. So they might as well go off the rails with it. And by off the rails, I don't mean stop being on rails. We've been with you before you said anything about on rails and off rails or all that other crap. We've already agreed with that. There's content all over our channel talking about how we don't want Star Fox to be on rails anymore.
Right,
but
exactly.
That also doesn't mean that we're saying, yeah, take it off the rails, make it a racer. You know, it's like
exactly.
That's a huge leap in logic. And then another thing that a lot of people in the comments were bringing up is, oh, but what about Metroid Prime? So you're telling me that Metroid makes just as much sense, or just as little sense as taking a flight sim, more or less, you know, in this sci-fi animal world and stuff like that, making that a first-person shooter, taking the 2D side-scroller action game that we had in like classic Metroid games, and making that a first-person shooter makes as little sense as taking
exactly
like that is a stupid argument. It's a dumb argument,
right? Because you're still in the same vein. You're still in the same. It's not like a freaking, okay, I'm gonna take a Zelda and make it a golfing series. It's like saying that Link's Crossbow Training is a good game because they took the original Zelda formula and made it into Ocarina of Time. Like that is stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's not one to one. Like them taking it, like the thing that doesn't make sense to me is that so many people see the missteps in games like Star Fox Adventure and Star Fox Assault, which, by the way, like Star Fox Adventure specifically, was actually received very well upon release. Right.
It's in retrospect that those games are seen as bad. And that's the case with a lot of games.
Right.
Where it's like Resident Evil. If that game came out unchanged today, people would hate that game too. Right. Because controls were clunky and nobody understood freaking dual analog sticks.
Right.
Yet. And that's how that game was designed. But taking the knowledge that everybody's learned of third-person action games now and making that into a new Star Fox game with that dynamic and then the flight sections and stuff like that, like I think that that's a better solution than saying, oh, let's make a racer. Like, make the racer, but make the racer after you have the mainline game figured out.
Yeah. Prove to us you can make a mainline and make this thing stand on its own. Then you can make a spin-off. Like, that's just and you're right. I've seen so many people in the comments like, I've never played a Star Fox game. This is cool with me. I'm like, well, you're missing out. You go back and educate yourself on this series and what it is, and then come back and weigh in. You know.
Also, that's kind of like somebody breaking into your house and then changing the house, and it's like, I don't like this because I don't live in this house and I don't like the decorations. You know, like you being a fan and saying I don't want this for the series is different from them coming out of nowhere and saying, I don't like the old thing anyway, so I don't care if they completely change it.
Yeah, and like, I'm gonna call myself for a second here, and that's like me being like, oh, I want a Yoshi spinoff. Like, go back.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know, it's like go back and play the other games first. Like, it's really weird. So, but yeah, I want to get in some of these comments here because like, a lot of you guys have a lot of things to say. And speaking of a lot of things to say, Secret 333. This comment was not secret because it's so freaking long. It's a novel.
Secrets can't be long now. That's discrimination.
You got this published and everything. This is crazy. But yeah, thanks for your comment. He says, massive Star Fox fan here. Okay, I like where this is going. Look, objectively speaking, on-rail games are an impossible sell for full retail value in 2018. There's a reason there are not many others. Honestly, after Zero, I assumed the franchise would go on a hiatus again, maybe returning late in the lifespan of the Switch or even at the end of the next Nintendo console. Jeez. Miyamoto is keeping this franchise alive despite its unprofitability. That alone is great news. While I was initially disappointed by this rumor, the more I thought about it, the more I realized that it could be a wonderful thing for the franchise. If the game is great and popular, it could draw in more fans so that when there's a new Star Fox game, there will be a greater sales potential. At the moment, Star Fox is not very known, so I think more potential buyers being dragged into the true Star Fox game by the racing spinoff would work out well, even if the next game takes years to arrive. in the fans' theoretical game is a success, I assume Nintendo would have a new game within the next about 2 or 3 years anyway to capitalize. Plus, this game could still feel like a Star Fox game. Just imagine on-rails flying segments where you can shoot the other races in front of you to slow them down to a certain extent. Okay, I definitely see where you're going with this. It's you know, make it.
I don't think it makes any sense.
Well, it's just a matter of like he's like, you know, it's like I'm a feed it in a different way.
It's assuming that if this spinoff succeeds, that they'll use that to make a Star Fox, a mainline Star Fox.
But it's like who's to say that even if it does succeed, people even like the mainline anyway? People are like, I want another racing game. You know?
Exactly,
so
that's what I'm saying.
So
like that's not a good excuse. Like it just doesn't make sense. And it's like it's funny how people vary on this, or not vary on like this issue, but vary on their viewpoint of this issue. Because had this been Pokemon, right? And they're like, oh, like if the rumors about Pokemon being an action RPG turned out to be true, which by the way makes sense. That makes sense with it's in the genre. It's not taking Pokemon and saying, okay, let's make Pokemon a puzzle platformer. You know, like they're not completely veering off into a left turn. A transition that makes sense, people are rallying against. But a transition for Star Fox, because they don't care about the franchise, they're like, you could just make it a pet sim for all I care. You know, it's like
and Secret, I'm surprised at you, massive Star Fox fan, you say, and you know you're behind this hunk of No, I'm joking. Just like I said, just theming. Another thing I wanted to touch into in your comment, you said on-road games are impossible to sell forwards about in 2018. I don't think that's true. I think
it's definitely not true.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. Not at all. I think if it's done well, like,
if anything's done well, it can sell. But and I mean, again, that's a whole nother caveat. Nowhere in there did you say, I want Star Fox to be an on-rail shooter and that's it.
Right. True.
It's just like, that's not the argument being made here. People are making their own arguments in their head to argue against. You know, it's like, just doesn't. That's not what you said in the video. You didn't. People are arguing against you thinking that the game sucks. You don't think the game sucks. People are arguing against the viability of on-rail shooters. You're not arguing in favor of the viability of on-rail shooters. Exactly. So the backlash from it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, people. I don't get it. And speaking of not getting it, the Frosted. No, I'm joking. Bad segue, but the Frosted Firefly also had something to say, and. By the looks of it, you are in favor of F-Zero, but I'm going to get into it. My issue with this game potentially being real is more to do with the fact that Nintendo gives yet another excuse not to touch and innovate the F-Zero franchise. F-Zero has so much potential to bring in more hardcore racing fans to the Switch, and the demand is there with fast RMX. If you ever played it, I have not. Only problem is that as good as fast RMX is, it ain't ever going to have the heart of F-Zero. Putting that aside, I feel like this is another Federation Force issue where my opinion on spin-offs lie. Star Fox Grand Prix or whatever could be a great game, but that's not the problem. The problem is that so many people want to play what finally feels like a true Star Fox sequel that really pushes the series forward, but Zero wasn't that. Thank you. If you're going to give your franchise a spin-off game, you need to be on good terms with your fans. Same thing with Federation Force. When your fans have been crying for years because they wanted a good mainline Metroid game after the other M did to the series, and you give them a spin-offs after all that waiting, don't expect the game to be warmly received when you bring it out. Good game or not, you need to be in good stance with your fans, to have open arms and welcome your new game. Now, in regards to Star Fox Grand Prix itself, if it really is real, I'm very much open giving it a chance and seeing what it's all about. Personally, I don't have a big connection to Star Fox, and that's why you're open to giving it like I do with Metroid, so it doesn't hurt as much to hear. Exactly. But it would do. But it will do that if they confirm that F-Zero is dead because of this game.
Him bringing up Federation Force is, I mean, that's this to a T.
Right.
That's the problem. It's the Federation issue. And him saying, I mean, he kind of owned up to the fact that, like,
Yeah, at the end, he was like, I'm not gonna lie, I have no connection to the series as a whole, so I am okay. Like what we talked about earlier.
Yeah, and just on full like not transparency, but just for the sake of like clearing this up, because I know that those comments are coming from people that aren't completely understanding what's being said. We're all for innovating on series and stuff like that. That's what we want. Star Fox to have a major shakeup, but the shakeup needs to make sense. Just like I said with Pokemon, you don't see me saying make Pokemon the best city building tycoon game ever.
Exactly.
Like nobody's saying that. You know, it's like make natural transitions.
Right. And
Final Fantasy 15 isn't like Final Fantasy 1, but the transition makes sense.
Right. And as what I was saying in the video, like innovation and change are completely different. Like, you know, it's just like, even though they sound like they're similar things, they're just not. You know, I don't want.
I mean, they're not completely. They're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, I don't want Legend of Zelda to come out and be a fishing game. You know, it's just like it could make sense with what you're doing. And that's all that needs to be. But yeah, I do appreciate that he separated the. He's like, you know, I'm not as connected to Star Fox, so it doesn't hurt as much as Federation Forces did with Metroid, and that was cool. Because yeah, it brings back to why a lot of people in the comments are just okay with this theming and
where they're like, I didn't like Star Fox the way it was, so maybe I'll like it if it's random and weird, as if it wouldn't be a better thing if they changed it and it made sense. Because they could change it into something that people want and make sense, like and they wouldn't even have to deal with the fact that they would be really competing with the existence of an F-Zero game. Like, how many arcade racers could you have?
Right, exactly.
Whereas Nintendo doesn't have right now a third-person action game. Like, they have a third-person, like, straight-up competitive shooter in Splatoon.
Yeah.
But why can't this be the third-person Metroid Prime? You know, like that whole situation, like a game akin to that with dog fighting and stuff like that. Like, why couldn't they do that? That is, I mean, that makes more sense to me.
Exactly. It just freaking. It hurts my heart. it's like after waiting 2 years for freaking news and being like not knowing, about a Star Fox game and feeling like maybe they're not gonna come out with Star Fox, and then for the first rumor that comes out is this. I'm like, oh man, this is insane.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I'm not even in the I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't care about the character as much as you do. But personally, I would prefer not to have a Star Fox game than to have a Star Fox game that I don't think makes sense.
Right.
That being said,
exactly.
I'm not totally against this game on the basis of that it's like it might be a good game and it's not a jarring theming thing for me. Like Mario plus Rabbids is jarring because I don't want to deal with the rabbits. So it's the theming doesn't make sense to me, and that bothers me throughout the experience of the game.
Right.
Whereas Star Fox, like the theming could make sense in terms of like the aesthetics of the world and it's Star Fox characters with other Star Fox characters. It's
not like let's cross over Assassin's Creed with Star Fox. It's something like really really weird. So and then
you don't have to do crazy patching. Just like people are saying in like they bring up in the comments, which I don't think it's strong enough backing to make this your forefront, like your flagship Star Fox game on a Nintendo Switch. But like people are saying like, oh, there's a connection because in Star Fox which one is it? Command. Star Fox Command. There's that thing about them becoming racers in one of the endings or whatever.
Yeah, that was that. I was like,
that's
what?
Reaching.
Again,
I mean, that's justification if this was an addition, if they were bringing an actual Star Fox game and this,
right,
like exactly. Just like how we got Federation Force, but we eventually got Prime and a 2D Metroid.
Exactly. I feel like that conclusion that just assumes too much. Like they went and did their homework. This is a spinoff. It's canonical. I'm like, that makes, I don't know. It was just that right there. I was like, what? I was like, what? Like, why even make that argument? It was weird. Yeah. So I didn't get that. I'm glad you pointed that one out. I was like, come on. Going on to I don't even know what the name of this person's
I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what the...
I thought it was like I was like, did it okay. AA says I don't think this is too bad. A few years ago, many people hated the idea of an FPS Metroid Prime. Most people thought it would be trash. Yet now Metroid Prime 4 is one of the most hyped up future Switch games. Only a year ago, people thought Mario plus Rabbids made by Ubisoft would never work. And here we are with Mario plus Rabbids, which is probably somewhere among the top 10 Switch exclusives that are out so far. A good Star Fox racing game could work. I don't know too many people who really care about the on-road shooters anymore. The genre is pretty much dead.
I mean, we pretty much addressed every single thing that this person said.
Yeah.
Mario plus Rabbids would be a good game if it wasn't Mario, if it wasn't Rabbids. If it was random characters, it would still be a good game. So
right.
That's a bad example.
Yeah.
Metroid Prime, again, that's a transition that makes sense. Mario Mario wouldn't be able to last in the minds of as many gamers as it does, not even did, if it was still Super Mario Bros, the same exact Super Mario Bros, or if Zelda was still like the original Zelda, we wouldn't have Breath of the Wild. Like that you can change with that and make sense.
Right.
It needs to be a through line for that comparison to make sense, because Metroid Prime is identifiable as a Metroid game. It looks like Metroid in the third dimension. It still holds the values of a Metroid game. It's just taken into 3D.
Right, and there's absolutely no problem. There's nothing wrong with that. Because when Mario did it, it changed the gaming industry. You know, people loved. You know, nobody was like sitting there complaining like, you know, the 2D Mario was going to 3D. People were like, oh, this is. You know, it just because it makes sense, and it's like it's not like a they didn't go from 2D Mario to go from
like the Mario
Golf, you know?
audience was well served,
right?
You know,
right.
Like if we haven't seen a Mario game for 10 years and the last one we got sucked, and then they came out with the first Mario Kart, everybody would be pissed,
right?
They're
exactly.
Like, all right, where's the actual Mario?
Exactly. And another thing at the end, one more thing I'm gonna say about this comment. At the end, you said you don't know many people really care about the on-rail shooters anymore. I don't really either.
Again,
exactly.
Yeah. We addressed all of that.
Yeah,
we don't care about it either.
It's just that's
not the point.
Yeah, exactly. If you want my ideal Star Fox like experience, look at Assault and just imagine that with better controlling, better like I said in the video. Just
Imagine Assault that control with shooting mechanics that are closer to a modern third-person shooter,
right.
Like a Splatoon, if you will.
Yes.
Flight controls like Assault, because the flight portions of Assault were good.
Very good. Yeah.
You know, level design akin to, again, another modern shooter, or even like platformer, even like again Splatoon,
right?
But with the mechanics of Star Fox, rather than designing it around the ink and that whole situation. Like
exactly.
It's already been proven we can make a game that makes sense for Star Fox. There are third-person action games all over the place. Those are the things that people are most excited for on PlayStation. They can make a third-person action game with Star Fox in it.
Exactly. Like I've seen so many people in the comments that have echoed. They're like, yeah, Star Fox can be so much more, and that's the issue that we're having. And speaking of issues, this commenter has no issue because he understands where I'm coming from. And you know, thank you guys for your comments. But she gets the golden nugget, the golden takeaway of what I was trying to say in the video, and that is video game her. She comments.
She has a channel. Check her out.
Check her out. Dope stuff. She says, I definitely feel where you're coming from. This game sounds like it could be fun, but one, Star Fox needs another good mainline game before breaking off into spin-off territory. Thank you, ma'am. And two, Retro Studios is so talented, and a racing game isn't really pushing their expertise to the limit, in my opinion. Now, like I said before, even in the video itself, I said I'd be fine if this was a packaged in thing as far as like Star Fox Guard, how we got that. You know, this is the if we got like this is the definitive, this is the you know, Star Fox Assault 2 as far as like a spiritual successor or something like that. Like this is you know, the gameplay that, you know, this is the ideal game, and then here you go with the add-on. That'd be cool. I have no doubt this would be a fun game. You know,
I think. See, the thing that I think that a lot of people are missing, and maybe that's your fault. I think you would be making that video even if it was another on-rail shooter. Like if it was an on-rail shooter, you would be like, I don't want this either.
Yeah.
You like we've been saying this whole time, what you want is a modern day Star Fox game that makes sense in that universe without the caveat of they mentioned racing one time before.
Because if that was the case, I'd be singing Star Fox Zero's praises. I'm like this game was freaking because it follows through with the what Star Fox is, as far as what the general fandom would say it is and what people support, but that's not the Star Fox games I want either. So it's like it's just all these.
It needs to make sense. Right. That's the long and the short of it.
Right. It
just like I'm always like I'm freaking influencer number one when it comes to wanting Pokemon to be something drastically different, but different in a way that makes sense.
Yeah, TLDR it has to make sense, and that's where we're at with this Star Fox Grand Prix. Yeah, so, but on to speaking of Pokemon, which you just brought up. Speaking of that, your video this week,
it sucked.
Terrible video, awful. Pokemon is not gonna be anything. It's just gonna freak it. No, it's just another reason why I'm excited for Pokemon. It's just all the things you mentioned, like you gotta stop bringing these ideas because it's just I'll be upset when
if right, like, none of this is right. Right. You got hopes up for no reason.
Exactly. But yeah, it's just man,
I just felt I felt compelled to be like, because everybody automatically assumes the worst of everything if you say, like, if you word something in a way that's like Nintendo vague, like, and granted this isn't their messaging, but people saw Pokemon Go integration and they immediately went to everything about Go that doesn't even make sense with what Switch is.
Right.
Like obviously it's not going to be Pokemon Go. You're not going to be walking around in the real world to catch these Pokemon because the Switch isn't equipped for that. You know, like the Switch doesn't have the cellular data connectivity and stuff like that. It doesn't have those. It doesn't have GPS. You know, it doesn't have any of that stuff. It's going to take things from Go that make sense, and it's not even. I guarantee it's going to be like. It's going to be a wink, nudge, nudge type of situation. Right, exactly. It's going to try to be reminiscent of Go because they want that brand recognition. They want to be able to appeal to the 200 million some odd people that downloaded Pokemon Go. They want to be able to try to appeal to those people.
Right.
Because as much as people want to say that those people are fickle Pokemon fans, so are competitive ones. Because there's new Pokemon competitive fans every single Pokemon game that comes out, but yet the sales still stay the same. There's new fans on both sides of the spectrum. If Pokemon competitive fans were as diehard as they claim to be, every single Pokemon competitive stream would have 50 million viewers. Like we would have all these freaking but that's not the case. Competitive players think they're more important than they actually are. What Pokemon needs to do is meet everybody in the middle. They need to say, okay, we have competitive players. Let's try to make them happy, but not at the expense of the casual players that want more of what Pokemon is outside of just this one medium. Like, Pokemon is so many different things to so many different people.
Exactly.
They need to try to appeal to all those people.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like, going back to your point when you said that, competitive fans think they're more important than they are. They really think that they're like, we're the lifeline, we're the blood.
Yeah, we're the lifeblood for this series. Yeah. There's 150,000 of us at any given time, but we're the reason why this is successful.
Exactly. Exactly. Like it's just not how it works. And like you said, Pokemon has so many different avenues that that they could take it aside from just the tradition of what we've seen. Like the whole what's it called in the when you like feed your Pokemon treats and all that other stuff.
Pokemon Refresh.
Yeah,
Pokemon Me.
Right. Yeah. Like that could be a game itself. Like people like that kind of stuff. And it just like there's so many different avenues. Like you mentioned in a previous video, like different routes and like why can't some people go to You know what was the thing like May used to go to? She used to do the whole
the Pokemon contest.
Yeah, Pokemon contest. People like could do those things, and there's so many.
What people don't understand is like again, Pokemon is so many things to so many different people, and that game it's the most valuable IP. Period. Period. They could make a game that appeals to everybody. They could do the whole thing of like, yeah, you're gonna have to deal with the turn-based battles for these battles or whatever. But there are a new battle system that we're testing out for these special battles, like they always do, where it's like, hey, there's some triple battles or rotating battles or double battles and stuff like that, and not every single battle is that. And people want to try to interject and say, you know how much more work that is? It's worth it, and it's not enough work to be like, oh well, you know, we're not gonna do that because the 150,000 diehards, and when I say diehards, I don't mean Pokemon diehards, I mean that battle system diehard, like the people that are like, I won't buy Pokemon which is BS, but I won't buy Pokemon if it's not turn based anymore. That is
such a stretch. It's ridiculous.
And people are automatically assuming that these people aren't, like they always do with people that have been game designers for decades at this point, that people that literally get paid hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars to make these games for us, and we love these games that they've made because they know what they're doing. We don't know what we're doing. We just know what we think we want. Their job is to give us what we don't know we want. Right, that's exactly what the whole job of a tech company, a game company, of entertainment company is supposed to give you what you don't know you want. You wouldn't watch our videos if all of our videos were about how you thought about a game verbatim. Like if you thought of a video in your head, like and not like in the literal sense, but if you thought every single thing that we said in a video, we would have no value to you. But the fact that we think of games in a different way from you, and that sparks a conversation, that's the value. So the fact that a game designer can bring something to the table that you don't even know is possible is the value. They know what they're doing. It's their job to do this.
Right. Like it's like you haven't seen anything just yet, you know, and this will and being able to sway people's opinion, public opinion like that, and be able to like get you on their side, that takes talent, you know. And I think people just need to be grateful. You know, it's not like they're completely making they're like, we're gonna make this a puzzle game or something like that, or just you know,
we're gonna, you know what, Pokemon Grand Prix.
Right, exactly. You know, be grateful. Stop.
And I don't want to necessarily say grateful, because I don't like the idea that like people, Nintendo's not your parent, you know, like that it's like, oh well, you know, you were good, so we'll give you a treat, or you promised to take me to Disneyland, you know. It's like it's not that. Like they don't owe us anything, we don't owe them anything. But what I am saying is, don't try to like, don't think that you know more than a game designer does. You think that you won't like Pokemon if it's changed, but chances are you will, especially if you're a diehard fan. You're gonna like it. You're gonna buy it.
Yeah, it's like, I just don't get it. It's just people love even though it's a separate thing and it was known to be a separate thing from the jump, but people like Pokemon, you know, and that's not. Yeah, that's not.
I mean, not as many people, but that's
right.
Another
Yeah.
Can of worms. But I don't know. It's just like, again, if Melee fans were like the diehard Melee fans, if they were the most important people to Nintendo, Melee would be the best selling Smash Brothers game. It wouldn't be Smash Brothers wouldn't be leapfrogging itself if only competitive players mattered.
Right.
Like every Smash Brothers game to come out after the last sells more than the last. So clearly people aren't like so like down with the ship about the games that they play.
Exactly.
Like most people would prefer change. Like that's just the long and short of it. As long as it's change that makes sense. Breath of the Wild would not be the best selling Zelda game of all time if people hated change as much as like the diehards say that they do. Like there's a lot of people that still are like, oh, I don't like Breath of the Wild because it's not like the old Zelda games. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you think, because it's still the best reviewed Zelda game. You know, it's still the best selling Zelda game, and that's critically and commercially with reviews. Like consumer reviews, again, best, period. So it's like the down with the chip mentality is dumb, and the if it ain't broke don't fix it mentality is also dumb. It's like you don't know something's broke or that something's not as efficient as it could be or as good as it could be, like until you do change it.
Exactly.
We didn't know that like the internet would be so much better of a form of communication than writing each other with carrier pigeons until we made those steps to do it.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
like if it was always like, yeah, this works fine for me. You know, I eat when I hunt. You know, it's fine. I don't need a grocery store because I'm living fine. It's not broke. You know, I just kill a boar and I eat for 2 weeks. It's fine. It's fine. Like no, it's a stupid mentality.
Yeah. And that mentality would hold a lot of things back and keep them in the same spot.
We'd still be playing NES right now if that mentality made sense.
Exactly.
Because NES wasn't broke.
Yeah. So, you know, you guys just gotta just be glad that, you know, Pokemon's not doing anything weird.
Just be glad that they're not turning into a racer.
Exactly. Exactly. That's my whole thing.
And hey, if it comes out, I said this to somebody in their comment, I would prefer Nintendo to or Game Freak specifically, I would prefer them to try and fail than to stay stagnant, because the alternative of not trying is having what we've always had. Right. But if they do try, we get something new, and if that works, great. If it doesn't work, we could always go back to what we always had.
Exactly.
There's no way that the 17 million people that buy the Pokemon game with the new changes and stuff like that are like, I hate Pokemon now, I'm not buying it anymore. And then like everybody feels like that unanimously. And that it doesn't work like that. Like these long running franchises and stuff like that stumble all the time. Sonic stumbles all the time, but Sonic will still sell millions of units whenever it comes out. You know, like if Sonic 06 can be turned around into Sonic Mania several times, I might add. Like Sonic has had several missteps, more missteps than successes, I would say.
Oh, definitely.
And Sonic still has the pull, and that's Sonic. Sonic's not the best-selling IP of all time.
Exactly.
Sonic doesn't make more money than Star Wars. You know, like a franchise like Pokemon is not going to die from one, even assuming that this would be a misstep.
Yeah, exactly.
We can get into the comments now.
Pokemon is more than good. And speaking of good, you guys just comments every single video. But we appreciate you guys doing so. And the first one on AJ's video is Jesse Gibbons. Thank you for once again commenting and being part of the podcast and the video in general. But anyway, Jesse says, there are good things about random encounters. They allow some species of Pokemon to have more value than others because of their encounter rate. They are a cornerstone of both the Safari Zone and the Nuzlocke Challenge. Nuzlocke Challenge. I like the idea of predictable overworld encounters, and I think there can be some potential challenges involving in line of sight. But I think they should keep random encounters because of the aforementioned benefits. If a player doesn't win any of the random encounters, repels have always been an option. Either way, I'll probably be satisfied as long as they don't drop the good old portable friendly mechanics to make some awful time critical action RPG.
I disagree. No, a lot of the stuff that he said, and I again had this conversation to an extent in the comments. People seem to think that when I say I want to be able to see some type of indication of the Pokemon in the overworld, that I'm saying I literally want them to render every Pokemon in pristine detail in the overworld. There's a way for you to be able to, and they've done it, where you can see the Pokemon that is approaching you in the overworld. You don't necessarily know what the Pokemon is right away like, at first glance, but you know that the Pokemon's there.
Right.
So if you're like, I got to go through this grass, but I don't want to run into Pokemon every 4 steps, you know, so let the Pokemon actually spawn in the overworld. There's games that do this. There are RPGs, action RPGs, etc., so on and so forth, that you can see in the overworld, oh, I don't want to fight that thing.
Yeah, and they can still have it have its mystique still. Can still have that mysterious appeal like that, and they can still find a way to let you know which Pokemon has said value over another one. It's not like just like getting rid of random encounters, which I would like for them to do, would completely just destroy that possibility that happened.
It's an antiquated model. It's not the reason why they're keeping it is not why people think they're keeping it. It's not this thing that's like, oh well, Pokemon wouldn't be Pokemon if they didn't have random encounters. It was a means to an end, and it became tradition. That is why random encounters still exist. It's not because that's what they think that what makes Pokemon. I promise you that. And that's what a lot of people's defense is. It's like, oh, but it wouldn't be Pokemon if you weren't stepping in grass for 2 seconds and you're running a Pokemon. It's like, why not? You know what would win everybody over? If the grass was actually tall.
Right,
because
right.
Then I could tell that the Pokemon are in the grass, and I can say, oh, that piece of grass right there, that's moving. I don't want to walk towards that part.
Give some indication rather than just like it all being the same. I'm gonna just trek through this, and we'll see what happens.
And then have some, and I had a conversation with somebody else in the comments, Molly, I think was her name, where I was like, it could even be nature based, where it's like a very small amount of Pokemon might chase you, but the majority of them won't. Some Pokemon might run away. If it's a timid nature Pokemon, make them run away. And not run away to the point of like, oh, I can't possibly catch up to this thing. But if you see it, if you see the Pokemon and you run towards it right then and there, and you're good at chasing it and stuff like that, then you can catch it and run into it and battle it.
Right.
Or the alternative, if a Pokemon sees you and it starts chasing you and you see it, you have the opportunity that, hey, you better start running or it's going to catch you.
I've never liked random encounters. Not even just in Pokemon, but in RPGs in general. I just don't like random encounters.
It's tedious. It's tedious. It's their way to force you to grind.
Right. And I'd rather,
which I think that would in a lot of ways help with the difficulty of Pokemon or the lack thereof. Where it's like a lot of reasons why you're so high leveled usually for playing the game normal. Is because you're forced to battle things. And it's like, I might as well, I might as well battle this 18th Zubat that I ran into in the 15 minutes I've been playing this game. It's like that sort of situation. I might as well battle it.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those things where it's like, and in that case, it's like, even if they took away random encounters, like, give me a reason to like, make it, it can be more meticulous, more like thought out. Like, I'm leveling because I want to do this, and it rather than just being forced upon you, like you wanted to get to this town past this route. Well, guess what? You gotta face these Pokemon. And
you gotta go through this gauntlet,
right. Or you gotta go through this cave, and it's like it's just and somebody
was like that. For the most part, the grass is laid out in a way that it's avoidable. False.
That is not true. Like. That's not true. And what about caves?
That's true in some areas. Everybody's defense for that is like, oh, just buy repels, which I think is stupid. I think that's like the equivalent of, oh, you don't want to level in Final Fantasy, just buy the microtransaction. It's obviously it's not as drastic because it's not real money, but forcing me to have to pay to not want to be hassled by this game within the game even is a stupid tactic. Like, why don't you pay for random encounters? If they then are like, okay, so let's think of it this way, right? In this scenario, like let's say that they do this and there's no more random encounters in the overworld by default. You can pay for instead of paying for repels, you can pay for like sweet scents and stuff like that, and that's how you get the random encounters you want. When you activate that for the next 1,000 steps, you can run into Pokemon randomly. How about that?
Sweet.
I think that's a better solution.
That'd be sweet.
That you can opt in to the random encounters rather than opting out.
Right, because if that's your thing, if that's what excites you, if that's what if that would make it feel like more like Pokemon-esque to you.
Yeah, if it's more Pokemon to you,
right? Then go ahead and do your thing.
Because the current system penalizes you for not wanting to deal with tedium.
Right, and that's Yeah, it's just, especially on Switch, like you don't have to, that's something that doesn't have to be done, honestly. And that's at this point, yeah, I've never liked random encounters. I've always found it to be annoying.
Yeah, like a lot of times I'll be playing Pokemon. And like I'll have like 6 random encounters after 4 steps at a time,
right?
And I'm just like, I don't want to deal with this and turn the game off.
Exactly. Yeah, it's
a chore. It makes traversal a chore, which is stupid.
Exactly.
It's dumb. Like it's padding. That's what it is. It's so that they can add more playtime to the session, which I think is not necessary to do through that. Like do it through actual content, not by trying to freaking do random encounters. It's just
Justin's input into the Justin Lantham commented and said, I think Pokemon needs some work, but not as much work as most seem. What? Not as much as most seem. Okay. I think all the rumors are spot on. Pokemon Go would turn into a glorified Pokemon Walker from HG and Soul Silver. Anyway, Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I'm hoping Alola isn't the second region, as it was really small. I would love to see Johto and Kanto as a single league with the ability to choose what order you gain the pages, and even allow to skip some by only needing 8 to complete the championship. As much as I never liked the TV show growing up, the way the league was handled seemed to make a lot of sense. They referenced some trainers receiving different badges than Ash and have a bracketed championship rather than Elite Four, which opens up to a lot more options for world building replayability with the growing cast of NPC trainers being swapped in and out of every time you compete. I think if they offered 16 gems from Johto, Kanto, plus a couple of extra ones, and making it so you only needed 8 to complete, and not trying to anchor the storyline to how many gyms you defeated and stopping you from exploring due to the storyline, we could see a lot of almost open world like play that would really open up the game.
I agree, but at the same time, I disagree with the Johto thing, because I feel like that is just Heart Gold Soul Silver, and I don't think that there's no like looking forward with that. Right, like with like making it Alola, you're looking at you're looking at the current Pokemon landscape, and you're looking at the past of Pokemon. Or they could do a new region, but I think that they're the general like consensus from a lot of people is that they think that this is like the effective remake of like, okay, we're gonna make this, but we're also gonna do Gen 8, like a new region of Pokemon and stuff like that.
Right.
I don't know if that. I don't know about that. I mean, we're eventually going to get Gen 8, but I don't think we're going to get it next year.
Right.
You know. But yeah, I think that it would make more sense for them to do a new region, or maybe they do Gen 1 and Gen 4, so they knock out the Gen 4 remake and not have to hear people complain about that.
That'd be sweet.
I like the idea of Alola though, because I think that they could do a lot of cool stuff with that region, especially since like the lore of it is that it's under development. Like they don't have their Pokemon League figured out. They don't have the trials are not like this thing that are like set in stone and it's always going to be like this, you know?
Right.
So them going in and changing a lot of different stuff, I think makes sense. And even expanding how big the Alola region makes sense. They could easily pull a Gen 2 and say, oh yeah, a volcano erupted, now a new island formed in the, 50 years since
that'd be sweet. And it wouldn't be a stretch either. Like even in the lore, and it just makes sense. That wouldn't be a bad thing. That'd be pretty cool. That'll work out. People.
So TLDR, you're stupid, Justin. You're dumb.
That was the worst comment I ever.
The worst comment. Unsubscribe.
No, but
Justin knows I'm joking.
Yeah, great comment. Another great comment. We have Grimhane. Yeah, Grimhane. Eevee has been my favorite Pokemon since it was a Pokemon.
You unsubscribe too.
I would love if they played up to the Eeveelutions. Oh my god, Eeveelutions in the next game, and just went all out by releasing the rest of them, the types for them. contrasted with Pikachu, who will only grow up strong, or only grow stronger, but will never evolve, and either has a set move or set limited pool compared to the other Pikachu. To be clear, only the starter Pikachu would be limited, or maybe only the Pikachu in the Let's Go Pikachu game would be. Leaning towards this starter. This harkens back to the rumor that these games would be about tradition versus change.
Yeah, 100%. Grimhane's a smart guy. I like Grimhane. Grimhane, you win the best comment award for this show. For this episode, the new best comment segment, Grimhane wins.
Did you?
Cause I agree, and that's it. I just want people to agree with me, as we know. No.
Yeah, that's the whole freaking.
That's why we make every single video, because we just want everybody to agree, and that's it.
Yeah, I thought I saw something a couple days ago that said they were like, we're gonna make Pikachu, something about Pikachu, like, we're gonna make Pikachu have a what was it,
a new evolution.
Yeah, new evolution or something. Yeah, new evolution.
Yeah, there was a scrap third evolution
for
the Pichu, or I guess a scrap third evolution before Pichu was a thing. Oh. So it's supposed to be Pikachu, Raichu, and then something else.
I was about to say, are we forgetting that boy Pichu? Are we forgetting Pichu from Melee? What? Come on now. No, but
he said from Melee. Pichu doesn't exist anywhere else but in Melee.
Are we forgetting Pichu, the boy who used to hurt himself? No, yeah, freaking Pichu's dope.
That was Smash Bros on hard mode.
I want a Pichu.
That's how you know. That's how you really disrespect somebody. It's like, I'm smacking with Pichu.
Right. Like forget Jigglypuff. I'm gonna beat you with Pichu.
Yeah, that's messed up. You gotta fight that man. Yeah, if somebody beats you with Pichu, the only way you can keep your honor is if you kill him.
I haven't seen a Pokemon beating that bad in the Smash Bros. Since you beat one of our friends from with Jigglypuff. But that was crazy. But anyway, on to the Q&A for this week. If you're not part of the Discord, like we said in the beginning of the episode, make sure you do that so that way you can get your questions in this segment and you can be shouted out as always. But going into the questions here, we have Tarek Yissen. Anyway, what are the weapons? This is from the YouTube community post. So not all these. Okay, like you said, these are all from the Discord.
Yeah.
What are the weapons you think Nintendo has after the second year, after Pokemon and Smash, in order for them to as much, I guess, in order for them to sell as much as 2017-18? I don't know. That wording was kind of weird. So what else? Basically, what other things did Nintendo have in the bag that after Pokemon and Smash, like after these big Titans and Goliaths come out, what else do we have? That's a good one.
I still say Ice Climbers. Give us Ice Climbers. Make it a survival game.
We have there's a lot of IPs that were just like that are forgotten about that Nintendo could bring back or like not even just bring back. Like there's a lot of things like Nintendo's good at, you know.
Because I mean the biggest thing is like it's not necessarily a thing of they need to have a heavy hitter in terms of what the IP is, because I think all their IP is strong in one way or another. Yeah. The biggest thing for them now that they use like the inherently like I know what that is IP, like like the Marios, the Zeldas, and the soon to be Pokemons, and even the Metroids and like that sort of thing. I think that the thing that they need to do now is like really reinvigorate the smaller ones that we know of for one reason or another, like the Ice Climbers and stuff like that, which I mean I say partially jokingly, but like really like I think that enough people know who the Ice Climbers are, enough people know Earthbound and stuff like that, that if you make a good really good modern game, it will perk ears. Exactly. just like Zelda. Like Zelda's not the most popular thing in the world, but it became the most popular thing in the world last year when Breath of the Wild came out because how good of a game it was.
Yeah, I think right now this is just this question. It's too hard to really, because like I'm excited for the things we don't know. Like, for all we know, there could be a new IP around the corner. You know, something like that. We have no clue.
Ice climbers.
We have no clue. So, you know, who's to say? But I'm excited for whatever.
What he means to say is ice climbers.
Or maybe like I said before, Wario could make another game or something that's, you know, just surprise Nintendo.
Ice climbers. That's what he means. He means ice climbers. Ice climbers.
Another comment from the YouTube community. Graham Baker says, or asks rather, what new retro character will appear in the new Smash Bros? Melee was arguably Game and Watch. Arguably Game and Watch. Okay, arguably Game and Watch. Brawl was Ice Climber. Smash 4 was Duck Hunt. Any inspiration from the new online Nintendo Online? Their branding seems to be heavily focused on Balloon Fight. Maybe that's Nintendo dropping hints. Who even was that? That balloon guy like a long time ago. That character.
Who, the Balloon Fight guy?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think he had a name.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure what they could bring back in terms of as far as like games like super retro. Like this character, like pull a freaking Rob.
Duck Hunt. You got to pronunciate with that.
Duck Hunt. But they pull a freaking Rob and they're probably gonna do that. Just put some super obscure that nobody knows about or nobody remembers.
Rob is trash. Like the games that Rob's in are trash.
They're gonna
including Smash Brothers Brawl through the Smash 5, I guess.
They're gonna pull out the freaking
trash.
So they're gonna pull out like a side character like from a commercial that from like the 80s that nobody freaking remembers. Like, oh, this character, who's this guy?
Doc Brown. Doc Brown's gonna get his own game confirmed.
But yeah, so who knows? Maybe they'll be like retro Baby Mario. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not really sure. Next comment from the community. Hikaru-chan 16. No questions I can ask that no one else already hasn't. Instead, I'll just take this time to say you guys are doing a great job, an excellent job, and to keep it up. As long as you keep making content, I'll be watching. Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. That was definitely out of the norm. We appreciate it. That was cool.
People being nice. So
I like that. Time for us to be mean. Oh no. Gadzuki from the Discord. Which of the wacky rumors is more interesting to you between Star Fox Grand Prix and the Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu? Freaking,
Pokemon.
You know what, more interesting? You know. Star Fox to me is more interesting in a bad way. I'm interested. It's interesting to me.
I'm interested in his demise. I hope it sells 3 copies.
It's interesting. It's definitely. I was interested in how bad of news that was. No, but yeah.
Pokemon.
Pokemon. With Star Fox, we already said my piece was that. You know, still gonna get it.
Yeah,
but.
I'm not even down necessarily on the Star Fox thing. Yeah, I understand why you are, but I'm still like, okay, that exists. Yeah. Hopefully, it's good. You know, like that. That's my viewpoint on Star Fox. Yeah. Pokemon, I'm hyped. I want Pokemon 3 days ago.
Champion 20 Saber Dark Soul, and first of all, Dark Soul really? No, I'm joking. He says from the Discord, if you had to choose one GameCube game to get ported to the 3DS, but not the Switch. First of all,
we gotta pick a bad one. Pick a bad one. I don't know. Billy Hatcher. That could be the game that gets ported to only the 3DS.
I don't know because I never really owned any bad GameCube games. Oh, I mean,
lies.
I only know about
false.
What GameCube game? I'm trying to think. I don't even know.
You know what? Just to trigger people, Smash Bros. Melee.
I'm done with
just to trigger people.
He's going to get his value just to get some rage. I love it. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe freaking.
It has to be something bad because we don't want to play. Why would we pick something that we want? Oh, that's another thing.
Why there's no new games? Boom, boom.
Yeah, exactly. And then when everybody's complaining about it, like, you don't know, this port could be a good port. It's freaking. No, you people are stupid.
Well, Champion, my question to your question would be, why would you ask the question about a 3DS and not a Switch port? I don't
know. Maybe he's an Izzy fan.
That might be.
Maybe he just likes. Maybe he just likes to see our pain.
Yeah, I'm not sure. You were sent by Izzy, weren't you? Admit it. No, I'm joking. But thanks for the question. Freaking to answer it, Mario Party. Freaking. What's a bad Mario Party game?
Mario Party 10.
What? Mario Party freaking 6. So, I don't know.
Mario Party 10. You didn't know that was a GameCube game?
No.
It was a GameCube game.
Really?
No, it wasn't.
What the heck? I mean, it is bad.
I'm mad you believe that.
I was like, it does have a through line. It does have a through line. Mario Party 10 is bad.
It does suck.
But,
just like every other GameCube game. Oh, burn. No, it doesn't. I'm joking. The
independent opinions in this podcast are not expressed, or AJ's alone, and not.
No, NCC4. That's the console that's trash. Continuing. You know what else is trash? Crash Bandicoot. That's also trash, and that Okay, continue.
Send them. What was that? Pokemon. Freaking Gale XD, whatever the heck it's freaking called. That's a bad Pokemon game. There you go.
Oh snap!
This is going to create so much freaking hate. Anyway, Drewish.
Hate.
Drewish plays and Pikachu from what? Okay.
There's somebody named Pikachu. They asked the same question.
All right, cool. Great minds think alike. How many Smash Bros. Characters do you think will be announced at E3? 3. So you don't freaking know.
8. No, we're going to get at least what 16?
Maybe 5.
16.
16. How do you get that number?
Because the tournament.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
We're going to get I don't know how many people are in the tournament. I didn't count. 8 to 16 depends on how many people are in the tournament, because they're going to want to do what they did last year, or not last year, but last E3 when they were revealing a Smash Bros. Game. Where like, oh hey, here's the bracket. They're not going to want people double dipping on characters.
Yeah, true. But yeah, just cut out the clone characters and yeah.
They're not going to do that.
Just chop the clones away. I hate them. Attack of the Clone Wars. No, but
I mean, you don't necessarily have to take them out. Just make them different. If you want to keep Dark Pit in the game, keep him in the game, but make him different.
Yeah, change up some characters, make them freaking
drastically different. I don't mean the stupid small changes that they have now.
Like, you don't shoot fire, shoot bills.
Yeah, exactly. He's slightly slower and a little bit stronger.
You don't use it. That's not a towel. That's a cloth. Yeah,
exactly.
That's not as reflective. Yeah, it's freaking. The company that's dumb.
Or if you're going to keep them the same, just make them skins and.
Thank you. That's my whole thing. Skins, and come on. Anyway, Nintendo, slap me some.
Or alternative, and everybody stick with me now. Cancel Smash Brothers forever.
Guys, this has been episode 20 of Direct to You.
No, we have things that we gotta do. The question, if a tree falls in the forest and nobody's around to hear it,
that question.
Who did the tree kill?
Oh, shoot.
Because that's why they're not around to hear it, right? Because it fell on somebody and they died.
Somebody. That's a stupid question anyway. Like the traditional one. Like, does it make a sound? Like, freaking dumb.
And you better remember the other thing that we gotta do too. Traditions.
That's right.
Right. All right. End the podcast.
Cheesecake is the best pie. Anyway, goodbye.
No, you're doing it wrong.
What?
As always.
Oh yeah, as always. Smile. And
as always, Logan's a stupid idiot.
As always, AJ's dumb. All right, bye, guys.
Bye.